I have a couple. I got one addition for finance, and I got one additional on wording with the recommendation with the E&H report.
As Chair of Arts, Rec and Culture, we look forward to continuing our commitment to be transparent and open to the residents of the community. In doing so, the Department will be publishing their first biannual report highlighting some of the challenges the Department has faced in navigating through the pandemic over the last 6 months and the exciting opportunities that lie ahead for Come Home Year and this summer of 2022. The report will be available both to Council and the public by the end of this month.
Thank you. On that note, Councillor Lang, do you want to speak to, or I can, so it's totally up to you, about the achievements of the E13?
Oh, yeah, I can go ahead, do it. Or you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I don't know all the details, so you go ahead.
Okay, yeah, not detail specific, it's just wanted to highlight that two female teams, U11 and U13, one brought on silver and gold. When I played hockey in the 80s and 90s, yeah, that's a few years, 80s and 90s, I think we had two female players, so it's just really nice to see full female teams going out of town and, bringing medals back, which is truly astonishing. It shows how much further we came. And I'd also like to highlight, I guess, the bigger skaters as well that participated this weekend, and the Elwood basketball team as well. Unfortunately, they didn't get the outcome they were looking for. I'm sure Mayor Pasadena will let me be reminded of that, but that's okay because they didn't lose gold. They won. Congratulations to all. That being said, is there any other new business? Hearing none.
Sorry, yeah. I just wanted to bring a quick update from Amanda Late Rogers was working on a couple of fundraisers in town to help families from the Ukraine come to Canada. So she successfully raised over $5,000. There's going to be one family arriving in St. John's on Wednesday, and she's still working on another. So if anybody's got any interest, she's got a heart of gold and working hard. So if anybody wants to reach out to her to see how you can help or what you can do, you can contact her through Facebook or call the town, and we can get the connection made with Amanda. So huge thanks to her for sharing that.
The situation obviously is very unfortunate, but we don't come to a place that, that we're all practiced all on the protecting the situation and the efforts of the resident. Unwilling, like on her own, as you said, right? Just pick it up on her own.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, thank you for that. Any other new business? All right, hearing none, we'll move into correspondence. In front of you, there's a PSD citywide grant service for your information. I guess that should go back to finance for recommendation. I think that's something that's valuable, shows where you not miss grant opportunities and whatnot in finance. So look forward to see where that goes with finance. And today, April 7th, 2022, it's Green Shirt Day. We got the proclamation here, so I'll read that proclamation. Just bear with me. Whereas after the devastating events of the Humboldt Broncos bus crash that took the lives of 16 passengers, Humboldt Broncos defenseman Logan Goulet succumbed to his injuries April 7th. And whereas Logan's parents, Bernadine and Toby, offered to donate his organs, so that's 6 lives, 6 human living lives to live on. Whereas, whereas Logan has registered as an organ donor after being inspired by his coach and mentor Ray, who was also an organ donor and saved 6 more lives when he passed in 2017. And whereas date, this is the largest number of Canadians registered to become organ donors in Canadian history due to one event. And whereas Green Shirt Day was created to honor, remember, and recognize all the victims and families of the fatal crash and continue to for Logan's legacy by inspiring Canadians to talk to their families and register as organ donors. Therefore, I, Mike Busney, Mayor of the Town of Deer Lake, do hereby proclaim April 7th, 2022, Green Shirt Day in Deer Lake, and I encourage all citizens to wear green, register their decisions to become organ and tissue donors, and most importantly, share their decisions with their family.
Right here, Mike. Yeah.
Good hear me?
No.
Okay. So that is the conclusion of the proclamation which I will sign proudly. I don't know if anyone else would like to have a few words. We got a resident land that we choose to carrying on, you know, the legacy as well.
Heidi. Bear with me. My goodness. What's the business? So Heidi Tucker is going to be doing an event at her gym, Elite Kinetics and Training. She is going to be, so if we stop by Elite Kinetics on Thursday, April the 7th, between 9 a.m. and 8 p.m., show that you're a registered organ donor to have your name entered to win 1 free year gym membership. Bring a green or any other color food item for a donation for the Deer Lake Food Bank to enter to win a 60-minute massage therapy session with RMT Shelley Wells. So if you go to Heidi's Facebook page, you'll see the details there. But April the 7th, wear green, stop by the gym, and show you're registered.
I guess we can get that shared on the Facebook platform as well, right? All right, thank you. That concludes correspondence, and we'll move on to reports. We'll get finance out of the way first, and then we'll move on to housing. Here, Councilor Jones, please.
Okay, our finance meeting was held on March 24th. Number 1, MBO training Clarenville, June 1st to the 3rd for the Municipal Enforcement Officer. Recommend approval, funds during the training budget. Marine contractors, retaining wall for Garden Road for $35,650, recommend approval. Number 3 for the Deer Lake Airport has been deferred for in-camera. Number 4 is graduation request for the stadium. Recommend they be charged $65 for an hour for all our staff are required to be in the building as per in the past. Number 5 for the phone fire department chief personal phone. The town has cancelled the extra line for the fire department cost of $40 per month for 12 months, which is $480. We recommend that $480 be paid to the fire chief for the use of the personal phone. Payment to be made once yearly. And another one there. Do you want me to make a separate motion on the report? Yes? Okay.
Kiri, are you able to make a separate one? Sorry, Councillor Jones, on number 4 as well. I'm going to declare conflict for that one. My daughter's graduating this year, so I don't want to be a part of the financial decision regarding that.
Okay. So I'll make a motion that we accept the finance report for March 24th, items 1, 2, 3, and 5.
All right, move by.
Moved by Councillor Jones, seconded by Councillor Freak. Call for the question. Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carried.
I just do want to speak to item number 3, that it's very important that we've been working with the airport, and we wanted to have everybody in the room to have a discussion before we made decisions. So we're unable to make an action on that or a recommendation tonight. So just to let her know that we will get back to her with a recommendation in the near future.
Yep, no, for sure, and sooner than later. Okay. I'm going to pose it to council, and same as Councillor Hancock. For the request for the stadium, I have a niece, obviously, that's paid for by, I would assume, my brother and his wife, so it is a financial decision. Would council see me in conflict? I have no issue stepping out. So I need.
Well,
need to-
personally, I don't think either one of you's in conflict, because you're doing it for the old graduation, I guess, for Elwood. You're not doing it for the 1 or 2 Pacific people. 1 or 2 Pacific people have to be involved. Whoop-de-doo.
And we
Yeah.
also decided to go with the $65 that we've done in the past. So that has been a standard rate, cost recovery only for $65. So there's no deals, no benefits, no anything to anybody around the table. This is 100% cost recovery and the same pricing that we've used in the past.
Yeah, we're not changing nothing. Status quo for the last couple of years.
The only thing is, and I guess, can I speak at
Do you
all?
want to vote?
I guess let's vote first, just because, the only thing I was going to say to you is, I'm not going to be in favor of this, but only because I wasn't in favor of it last time either, not in any way connected to whatever, right? So all I'm saying to you is I'm not going to be in agreement with, is all I'm saying. So,
Well, it's all right.
so
You can
therefore
lose
it's going to
vote,
look
yeah.
like, obviously I'm trying to save, so that's
Vote
why
us-
I'm thinking I
vote us
should
out.
step out.
Neither one of us like the proposal, so this is simple. It's democratic. Let us sit back there. You guys make a decision, Bob Trunk, and we move on. Good?
I voted
But if you're not in a conflict of interest, then you gotta vote.
Hmm?
If you're not in a conflict of interest, you gotta vote. My understanding with the regulations for the municipal government.
Yep.
You have to vote if you're not in conflict.
Yes.
Gordon, I think is, because depending on how much this stadium costs, will depend on grad fees.
And the
Yes.
parents are required to
Yes.
pay
Well,
that.
that's different. I didn't know that.
Financial
And being my
possibility.
brother, child by the act,
And
I would be
therefore,
same.
thing with his brother, it will depend on how much this costs.
Thanks for the clarification.
You're welcome.
I believe you're in conflict.
Okay, sounds good. Everyone else?
That's only me.
Well, are you calling a vote for conflict, or are you guys declaring conflict?
I'm declaring.
Okay.
First one since the picket on my fence, on the house one, so. So Mel, you can, Carrie can make the motion and you can take it from there? You
I'll
good?
try.
Yeah, close your eyes.
So we got that.
Okay, number 4, graduation request for the stadium. Recommend that we charge $65 for all our staff are required to be in the building as we did in the past. I move that we accept this recommendation.
Do we have a seconder?
So,
Any questions? Am I allowed to ask a question now?
yeah, you can.
You second it?
Darren.
All three of us.
How many hours are we looking at, do we know?
It's about $1,400 is what has been in the past, hasn't it, Lori?
That's what was
Ish.
charged last time.
Because they want to get in, they want to decorate it the day before. There's a bit of security liabilities.
And traditionally, we've always charged them for this?
We have our staff. What we've done is, in the past, when there's been staff members that was either their children or them themselves, because we have a lot of young staff that were probably graduating. As long as we had staff in the building, we were okay with it. But on the last day or two, you had to bring your stadium staff in, because there was a lot of things they couldn't do, so there was work they couldn't do. Maybe they had to go up in the man lift and things like that. They had to train staff there for that. And we've also got to clean up and be there for them that night in order to help them out. So you have staff typically for at least the last 2 days. Now, let's say like next year, there's no one on council and there's no one at the rec center that's there for graduation, and they need to start decorating on Tuesday. Well, they're gonna need Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. There's gonna be 4 days. So it'll all depend on year for year, how many hours they actually wanna be in the arena.
And we've
There's
been
no staff in there.
Side for 2 years.
Yeah, will they return back to the school?
Well, and
Yes,
that's,
the
it, they
next
could very
thing,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they might wanna be in the new annex, either way, and then that could be a different pricing altogether. But as for right now, in the past, yes, $65.
Is there a possibility that it could be in the school this year?
I don't know.
No? Well, either which way,
I don't think that was even a thought, was it, Lori?
Not that, what I've heard.
Oh, boys, you know, let's face it, 4 days out of your stadium and you're going to have your graduation class and there's more people be able to be invited to the event of, you know, not so close family members, but friends, you know, we get a lot more capacity.
Absolutely.
Geez, you can't do it for 4 days, just would have thrown the towel and closed the stadium altogether, my opinion.
agreed.
Okay. Any more questions? All those in favor?
Motion carried.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, the final part of my report is, I'd like to make a motion. Be resolved that the town of Deer Lake proceed with the preparation of a tender document for the rerouting of our storm sewer and applicable civil work required to do this at the Island Memorial Recreation Complex. Tender will be reviewed and approved by the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure.
So that's your motion?
Yeah.
Moved by Councillor Jones, seconded by Councillor Fitzgerald. Call for a question. I have one. How soon can we get that out? That's as soon as possible, right? Let's
Hopefully.
accept it. Absolutely. No pressure, but it's ASAP, Maxine.
No pressure, but tonight.
Yeah, but yesterday. Yesterday. Okay, all those are call for question. Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. All
Okay,
right, Councillor Jones.
Accounts payable. Here we have the accounts payable presented in front of you. Items number, I see my old buddy over there's on this, no. Items number 1 to 28, excluding number 26, because I will declare conflict of interest. It's presented in front of you.
You're gonna call conflict on which one, sorry?
Number 26.
Just give me 1 second here. All right, so do you want to step out?
Yeah, we can do 26 first and do the rest after, or?
Yeah,
Yeah?
just to get it done and over with. Councillor Freak, did you want to make a motion to pay the bills for item number 26, please?
Item number 26 for Western Steelworks for $156.55. I make a motion to accept the invoice.
Moved by Councillor Freak, seconded by Councillor Hancock. Call for the question. Here.
We do have, did he complete the rest of the report? Okay.
What was
No
that, sorry?
question. No question.
All right. All those in favor? Motion carried.
Maxine, you got an item number 17 amount is missing. Wasn't that close to 2,500?
I just takes reports, I wasn't there.
It was 2,000,
No, 2,000.
2,092.79.
Can you make that note so it goes back
Darren?
2,000?
For item number 17, it was $2,092.79.
It's a blank line.
Yeah, yeah.
That was for the creation of our sliding hill? Sound right to everybody?
Yep.
Yes, so, I guess.
Comparable prices as before, but bigger hill, so better. All right, Councillor Jones.
Okay, so I move that we accept these items.
All right, moved by Councillor Jones, seconded by Councillor Langdon. Call for the question.
Just one question, item 17 as well. Was that budgeted for previously, or did that come out of, was that Deer Lake Live?
No, that would have come out of operations, same as every year. Correct, Dave?
Okay, excellent, thanks.
So it's coming at a public works operation budget?
Same as it did every other year, yeah.
Okay. No, we've never tendered it out before, so it would have been in-house, right?
Yes, it's a standing offer for the excavator rental.
Right.
Which we've always had before excavator rentals with our operators. Is there any dispute on that one, or?
No, just clarity.
All right, sounds good. So, any more questions? All those in favor? Motion carried. All right, Councillor Jones, did you want to move on to?
Okay, we'll do our environment and housing first. I guess I'll do items number 2, 3, and 4. And I'm going to leave number 1 for separate because our deputy mayor is declaring conflict of interest in that one. So number 2, Sunrise question, request to subdivide land. Request is denied. The land does not have road access. Number 3, Pine Street Drive, the shed encroaching on setback. We recommend that meet with the owner of the shed to let him know he has to remove 2 feet off his shed that is encroaching on the setback. And number 4, for 86 Riverbank Road fence, we recommend approval for this. So I move that we accept the environment and housing report for March 25th, items 2, 3, and 4.
All right, thank you, Councillor Jones. Moved by Councillor Jones, seconded by Deputy Mayor Young. Call for a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you go. We might have the same one.
Oh, I was just going to ask a question on number 3.
Yep.
Just wondering, did we give a permit for that?
He's got a permit for it. When we done the permit, and it's just been going on now for a little while.
I know some of the details. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you all the details that we got this recommendation. We looked at and reviewed at it. When he first got the permit, they went over and we done the measurements where the resident told us where his land barrier or boundaries were.
The pegs. Yeah.
They done the measurements and he said they pegged there, the iron peg piece of. So anyway, they did on it. The neighbor still complained about it. And the neighbor went in and got her own survey done professionally again. Well, I guess we assumed last time it professionally, but I'm not sure what happened. But this one done professional.
Yeah.
It come out that he was encroaching, so I guess due to the not correct information from the previous with the permit, this gentleman would be asked to remove 2 feet off his shed because it was, I guess, false and incorrect information was given at the time. So we have
Okay.
no choice but to ask
Yeah.
him to remove 2 feet off the shed.
I guess my question is, really, does he have the ability to come back and seek damages from the town?
No?
At the end of the day, I mean, we gave a permit, despite, and he might very well have thought that's where his pegs are. I don't know, or I'm just wondering, could he potentially seek damage? Is what I'm wondering.
I don't see this. Like I said, thought there was no proper survey completed, so the town went based on its permitting. The neighbor did the survey there afterwards, proving to the point of where the shed should be.
I think the biggest issue, Councillor Hancock, with this was the proposed permit had showed a different design than what actually was laid out after the fact.
Okay, so he was
it's-
issued a permit on something different than this.
Yeah,
Did he
well,
make it bigger than the permit in terms of this 2 feet?
That's where the discrepancy is. That's what
And
struck.
there was an iron post there, he said was a survey
Yeah.
peg. Now,
That's what I mean. I'm just wondering if he was acting on the best information he had, because, I mean, we didn't require a real property report or whatever. I just want to know if we have, if that's something that's possible. Because I guess, really, I'm driving home the importance of real property reports, and I know that we don't have them for sheds and stuff yet, but it could be something to think about for a particular size of garage or something in the future, because this kind of stuff could be avoided altogether. Potentially.
But he's still required to provide the proper information. That's his responsibility, and he didn't. So if he wasn't sure where his property was, then he should have went and got a survey.
the onus is still on the owner of the dwelling to make sure that he's not in the encroachment of the regulations.
I mean, I completely agree with the recommendation. I just was wondering if he would have any ability.
Good question.
I don't know. I just, because at the end of the day, he might very well say that's the best information I had, and the town said, yep, go ahead and put it there, and I did what they said I could do, and then here I am now. You're telling me to take 2 feet off, which is quite the adventure from a completed shed, you know?
And not only a financial loss for this man to have to go back and dismantle, but when you read the other resident, I mean, she knew from day one that it was incorrect where the pegs were. She notified the town, and then she had to go pay for a $1,200 survey when she notified the town that this wasn't correct. Like, at what point do we back up the bus and be like, okay, let's hold on here. Before you set a foundation here, seems to be a bit of a dispute. I know, you know, we can't put that liability on Keith because he's not able to do a survey, but we allowed this to go on since October the 8th, and it cost one resident $1,200, and whatever this is going to cost him to dismantle his shed, that's on the wrong property. Like, something.
The resident was made aware that this would be dealt with in the spring, so that's where we are, where it is here now, so.
But it's fully built, so, but
After the fact is when they went and got their survey, but what I'm saying is, it's not like it's been delayed or denied or pushed off till
Right.
spring. That's when they were told that this would be brought to the table, so here we are.
So no recourse for the town of Deer Lake for what the two of these residents have been kind of, because if you were led to believe you
I
could
would say
build-
let your cards lay after this motion, and we'll find out at that time.
See what happens.
Town has just as much part to play in it as anyone else. If you make a mistake, you own it, and if we gotta own it, we own it, but I guess we'll see after this.
I mean, I don't think
recommendation goes.
we acted in bad faith or anything. I think we really, you know, we tried to do the best we could here, it sounds like. But I guess what learnings do we take away, and how do we try to make sure this kind of stuff doesn't happen again is the key, really.
I think the biggest learning taken away was the new motion set forward to have real property reports going forward, so councils in the future don't have to sit and deal with this
Don't
type of
involve-
stuff.
We
Sheds
don't
or
involve
garages.
this, right? So this is real property's not gonna fix this one for us.
Not gonna fix it, but it'll make sure that these things don't continue to happen in the future as we keep moving, possibly on garages or whatnot.
Yeah, we'll have to. Yeah, it was more of a curiosity for me if someone could seek damages and if we should be ready for something like that. But and then the learning piece. But I think, like you said, maybe we need to sort of let this fall where it may a little bit and see what happens, and take it one day at a time.
That's it.
Try to learn from it. Okay, that's it.
Mistakes are made, no.
This was an extension to a shed, right? It wasn't the construction of the entire shed.
It was an extension.
Was the extension? And the extension was into this space, into the encroachment.
Yeah, the extension was proposed at 12 feet.
And what did he put in?
I'm not too sure what the exact length was, but getting back to the mayor's comment, the permit did differ from the actual construction.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's something he got to own too, you know,
So,
a little bit.
Well, that's right, and as long as our staff, you know, done due diligence and the building was then put in place, or the pegs were. That
I
was
mean,
my
that's the
point.
I mean, that's the thing. It's very difficult, you know. Like, we don't have a surveyor, and so therefore, it's all guesswork.
Well, and that's the
There's nothing that's
liability,
not
right?
guesswork. It's all guesswork. If you use a tape measure, then that's pure guesswork. Pretty well. So I mean, you know, I don't know. It's just
I think that's common in this town.
yeah.
We got all these little piecemeal pieces of property
Yeah.
in people's backyards, and
Yeah.
it is very difficult to expect,
You
Keith
can't.
to come out
You
with a
can't.
tape measure, and
It's not his fault at all. It got nothing to do with Keith.
And a lot of our, I do believe, or correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of our properties don't even square with the center line of the road, so
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah.
things a little bit difficult at the
So-
same time.
Is that something we could put back on environment and housing, that if you felt like your neighbor was coming in with a garage and building it onto your property, so you could blatantly see, hey, back of the bus, that's my property. So you could go back to environment and housing and have the discretion to say, look, before we can approve this permit, we've got discrepancies. Our surveys look like you're building on this person's land, you're gonna be required to have a new survey before you can build a garage extension? Like, could that
Like,
have
you
worked
mean
or
like
been a
this-
solution?
Like anything that becomes a dispute.
Right.
But the issue would be that the public would only be made aware of the decision to proceed with the dwelling afterwards. Like, your neighbor wouldn't know until it wasn't already approved.
Yeah, that's
Right,
true.
but if the dispute started after the approval, then you could easily state, look, there's an issue with this, because we've got no other recourse other than now. Somebody got a survey that has nothing to do with her property, and now somebody's gotta dismantle a building. So it could have been, if we knew the dispute and been like, look, we gotta put this project on hold, you're gonna have to provide us a survey to confirm that, you know, we've got this inside the boundaries.
Maxine, is there a disclaimer on our, yeah,
On your permitting?
yeah.
Anything that we discover after the fact,
Right,
we discover that, right?
right. So
Okay.
once that was pegged, we could have easily asked for
Well,
a,
and even like once the permit goes out, the person, like, the person who's building, and you still got the right to appeal it, like the neighbors will still have the right to appeal it, if you do.
I do believe, Councillor Freak, that we did discuss something of that nature during this time in environmental housing. It's not in my notes. I do believe Keith brought up something of that nature.
okay.
For the meeting, it's been a couple weeks since we had the meeting. I was
Like,
trying
you
to
mean like a
find it.
dispute resolution situation?
Something of the point of the nature that that if you're not too sure where your boundary is, that you should be pushing it inside your boundary a little bit further than what you are, so you don't end up in these situations.
Right.
Because our
Yeah, yeah.
development regulations, I think, says 6 feet, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I do believe we did have a discussion, and I do believe Keith brought it up to us, so, I can't speak for Keith, but I do believe the conversation
Okay,
was had, so.
Okay. There might be some kind of,
On our permit, on
Yeah.
our application that people fills out, it says the insurance of this permit shall not imply responsibility by the town attorney for non-compliance of the applicant to carry out work in accordance with the municipal building regulations and the National Building Code of Canada.
okay. That's a word.
All right, heavy stuff, not pretty, but it is to be dealt with, so. All right, any more questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. All right, Deputy Mayor Young, if you wanted to step out for item number 1. All right,
Okay,
Councillor Jones.
number 1 on our environment news report out on March 21st, Marine Subdivision. Our recommendation is to move forward with the process for zoning amendment to the municipal plan development regulations to allow development of a 114- lot residential subdivision on the west side of Humber River between Humber River Road and Route 430. The proposed amendment will rezone 5.8 hectares of land from environmental protection to residential medium density. A 30-meter buffer zone will be maintained between the Humber River shoreline and the border of the RMD zone. Another 3.2 acres will be rezoned from commercial general to residential medium density. I guess just an FYI, and this is the recommendation. We'll start the process to begin a review for rezoning as per our regulations and transparency. I move that we accept number 1 of our report.
All right, thank you, Councillor Jones. Moved by Councillor Jones, seconded by Councillor Freak. Call for a question. I'd just like to make a note and thank our staff for doing the due diligence. Obviously, sometimes there can be holdbacks and timeline delays working with other levels of government, but thank you for your part in this, moving file forward. So any more questions or any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carried.
Thank you.
All right, so that concludes, I guess, your environment and housing, correct?
Yes.
All right, somebody let Deputy Mayor Young back in. So we shall move on to Public Works, Councillor Fitzgerald.
All right, this is in regards to the Public Works meeting of March 25th. 2022. In attendance was Councillor Brett Langdon, Maxine Hayden, Dave Thomas, and Jason Young. Just as an FYI, we had a water line break on Hancock's Lane. Before I start, I'd like to, I apologize that some of this readings may be a little out of date because we were a week late on this meeting, but I will read as per drafted for the meeting of last week, or intended meeting.
Thank
So
you.
water line break on Hancock's Road. The town was informed of the water line break on the evening of the March 19th, and the issue was quickly rectified on the 21st. We received a letter regarding the Fifth Avenue drainage, item number 2. The town received a letter from a concerned group of homeowners regarding the current drainage within the Fifth Avenue extension area. The town informed the group that we will be internally investigating the area once weather permits and will continue to monitor ditches during the spring melt. In addition, the town has applied for capital works assistance to perform a storm sewer study for 2022, which may assist in rectifying this ongoing situation and stormwater flows throughout the town as a whole. Item number 3, Tower Road yard spring flooding. The town received a concern from a homeowner regarding annual flooding of their yard. Unfortunately, the dwelling rests within a flood zone and the town has no resources to assist with this ongoing situation. In the past, the operators of the Deer Lake Park, in good faith, has assisted these homeowners with this issue. Understandably, we are unsure if the operators will continue to assist. However, we feel the homeowner should approach the operators with such an ask. Number 4, annual cleanup. Public Works has begun planning for a hybrid cleanup, as mentioned in our last public meeting, to ensure all residents are able to avail of a bulk garbage collection. Like that of the past couple of years, residents will be able to transport and dispose of their bulk waste to the depot on their own, and for those who wish to avail of a curbside bulk collection will need to contact the town office to arrange for such a time. As we all know, garbage collection is very expensive and time-consuming for our public works staff, so we are hopeful for those with means to transport their own garbage continue to do so during this time. So, to go back with some dates that we possibly have, so the Public Works Depot will be open for public disposal May 3rd to the 5th, May 12th to the 14th, and May 26th to the 28th. We will not be accepting garbage during the long weekend period. So for resident pickup, residents are going to need to contact the town office before the end of day April 29th. After this date, the town will compile the requests and determine a defined collection schedule. Each resident will be contacted by the town of their date of pickup. So communications will follow shortly describing what can be disposed of. Also, for those having curbside pickup, garbage must be neatly piled and sorted before collection. And I just want to make an add that there will be no paint cans accepted by the curbside, but the depot will be accepting as in the past. So feel free to bring your paint up to the depot during those 3 collection weekends. Item number 5, Murdoch Drive, Nichols Landing, and Stella Drive Subdivision. We recommend that the town contact the owners of these particular subdivisions to have each completed in full, as land sales have met the agreed threshold of the past. Completion includes a second lift of asphalt and sidewalk insulation for that of Stella. Number 6, Western Health garbage can request. There was a request to purchase a garbage can for a dwelling. However, Public Works wishes to defer this request for further information at this time. Number 7, apprentices. Once again, Public Works wishes to defer all apprenticeship applications at this time until information regarding available funding is known. Therefore, I recommend council accept the meeting minutes of Public Works for March 25th, 2022.
All right, thank you, Councillor Fitzgerald. Moved by Councillor Fitzgerald, seconded by Councillor Langdon. Call for the question. Hearing none, I do have one question for, where is this item? Item number 3. Where's that letter? Give me 1 second here. The letter at the end of it says, I request to be present in any future conversation regarding this matter. What's the plan moving forward with that part of the letter?
With the Tower Road cleanup?
Pardon?
With Tower Road, is that what you're asking about?
Yeah, in the letter that it says that you reach back out to the proponent or what? Or
Yeah, we're going to ask that they reach back out to the Deer Lake Park operators to help with the, I guess, the pumping of the water in their yard,
Okay,
as in
so,
the past.
so the homeowners will be contacted to let know what the
Yeah, our
committee came
outcome
up with?
is.
Because I can't see who it is, but I guess you can, now you can when you read through. It just shows the address. All right. Let's see, one more. And the spring cleanup one, I just want to say thank you to the committee. Obviously, this can't be perfect. It's a new hybrid type system, but I just want to say thanks because I think we've all agreed that no one should be left behind when it comes to spring cleanup. And I think we'll work through it and maybe make some modifications for next year, but this is much better than we've had ever before, so thank you for that. All right. Any questions, comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Can I ask one
Go
question,
ahead.
sorry? So this is one resident on Tower Road, so is he saying that what we're doing the park is causing his land to flood? Is that what he's saying? Like,
Apparently, this has been an ongoing concern for years prior to any park development.
So there's been conversation had with our.
his land flooding?
With two staffers, developers, all that kind of stuff, and obviously she knows that one of the partners aren't here now, or two of the partners, so
Okay.
whoever the new people are, I guess she's just trying to make sure that she's part of those conversations.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
That would be my understanding, because the issue happened back in 2020.
Okay, no, just.
Yeah, it seems like from the letter that it's been pre-existing, but maybe exacerbated in some ways, so just want to make that contact again, that's how I read it.
Okay.
But, sorry, she did have a meeting since 2020 with these people. Know what I'm saying? So it's been addressed and they've chatted about it and ways to, fix it.
It's good to see them working together.
All right. Any more questions or comments? Hearing none.
I have a question about number 5. There's going to be a significant, obviously, increase in the cost of asphalt. Just wondering, what happens if it doesn't happen? And
Well,
what's the
I would,
timeline? And what's the timeline?
Well, I guess my suggestion, Councillor Hancock, I'd have to go back and actually see these agreements that were made. This is past councils. This is a recommendation from our management staff, so I don't know what the exact agreements were in the past this time. All I could tell you is that we've reached I can't remember the actual threshold, Dave.
Yeah, I guess.
75% sold, and we've reached these, and so, so that's why we're moving on. That was the
starting
agreement in the
conversation.
past.
We had correspondence on the second subdivision there last year. We asked to
Yeah.
reach out, and Maxine should have an updated letter from that developer.
We were planning on doing that this year.
This
So
year.
This is what was going to remind him that he will.
Okay.
Yeah, in Nichols subdivision, I know we already discussed that prior to Christmas. It was passed as that we were reaching out to the proponent of the subdivision. So
All right. Any more questions? Comments? Hearing none. All those in favor? Motion carried. And that concludes Public Works, Accounts Payable, Finance. That concludes our meeting. Date of our next meeting will be April 11th, 2022. So make a call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Oh, he wants to go bracket.
sir.
Yeah. Moved by, what's that?
One week between meetings instead of going with the 18th.
I'll leave that with you, but what do you, for pressing matters, do you think we can?
Let's do it,
What's the date? What did you say the date was?
April 11th.
Which is
Oh, I think it should be the 18th. I think I made a mistake there.
Sorry, we're still.
So
That's probably wrote there from the last time, though.
April the 18th, which is a Monday.
Okay, that'll give time for committees to meet rather than push it through. Okay, so friendly amendment that the date of the next meeting will be April 18th.
Is anybody off? It's Easter Monday?
Yeah,
Everybody not at the office? You're all here?
Wish I was off.
Still alive, still alive.
All right, so we have a mover by Councillor Jones to adjourn, and I will call the meeting to adjournment at 8:25. Thank you.
Thank you.